All right. So, quick update. Um, I missed filming my push day, but I really was just pretty busy with doing a favor for my dad and also just trying to get a workout in at the same time. Do my laundry and just get everything done. But yeah, we're back at it again. So last week, we started our little journey here. Um, in terms of progress, ever since switching it, turning it up to a more aggressive approach of a 1,000 calorie deficit. Um, we went from 211 on 211.6 on Monday to I think about Saturday there. We reached 208.2. So over Sunday and then Monday kind of fluctuated a little bit, but we're back to the 208 range here. So about a 3 pound drop, not as big as I had expected. Maybe it's because I had been on a deficit for like 70 75 days, rather. But yeah, you know what? Progress is progress, and we're getting there. The trend is going down. We're aiming to lose about 2 to 3 pounds a week. So let's see how this goes. If we need to add a little bit more activity or take out a bit more calories, I hope that everything goes perfect and everything as is. What I'm doing right now, it just stays dialed in, and I'll just route it from there and hit 200 by second, third week of April. But we're gonna just take it day at a time and do our daily weigh-in and evaluate from there and have a weekly average. See if the trend keeps going down. Yeah. So let's head on out. We'll do a little bit of a pooling split here. We're still gonna try and go pretty heavy, get some compounds, but also have some accessory movement with squeezing sets. But let's not further delay this, and let's just get it moving here. And all right, so first exercise, warmed up and everything. This is gonna be one of the heavier sets here. We're just gonna do some bent over rows. Not the most optimal in terms of forms, but like I just like getting a really good amount of weight to it. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily to like really go out and get some good squeezing sets, but the amount of tension and the heaviness to it. It's just I'm more so doing it for like get me amped up and like making sure that like the due diligence of I went hard, you know. But never mind that. We will just do our sets, and it's my back day anyway, so it's not like I'm looking for anyone's opinion or say about how I do things. Although you're more than welcome. I will just take it with like a grain of salt in terms of that. But let's do this. Wow. Yeah. We'll do one more, but I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. I'm not gonna get a better angle than that. I'm so sorry, guys, but we are in a lat pulling down type of movement. It was the only one available, so we went with this. But we're just gonna do something alternating once again. 2 plates each. Okay. Now on to the next one. Yeah, as expected, on that 4 or 5 to like 7 p.m. crowd here. It is gonna be busy. But you know what? We do our movements, we work hard, and we'll have a good session nonetheless. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, we're back again with a barbell tripod here, propped up in my water bottle. Yeah, am I in? Yeah, I'm in. I'm in there, dog. All right. So hammer curls once again, just the 40s. I don't think it will ever go up from here on out on this cut, but we'll stick with this as much as we can, and we'll do as much as we can. Let's go. Wow. 2, 4. All right. We'll do a couple more of those. All right, y'all. So we finally got some machine here that that I really don't mind to use, with just the cable row here. But right now we're just gonna do alternating rows. I was already, because this was preoccupied, I was already warming up with the dumbbell rows. But to be honest, I'm not fond of the movement. I just did it because it was my option. But now that I got it here, since I already warmed up, we're just gonna get straight into the set here. So let's do it. Stack is at 100. Let's see if we can do like 6 or 8 here. All right, we got 8 on that one, so we'll just try to match it with the other one. These straps really are the lifesavers here, because if it wasn't for it, I wouldn't be able to do as much weight, but also I wouldn't be able to put as much load on the back muscles that I'm really trying to target here. So yeah, kudos to that. All right. Well, well, we'll move on to the next one, but I'll do one more. All right, back at it again. This is my favorite. I think all time, this is my favorite curling exercise, bicep exercise. Just this preacher curl machine, and I never use it the way it's intended to be used. I always use it alternate, just to really get that, you know, making sure I get that tension and pump to my biceps. So yeah, let's get right into it. That's lighter than I thought. Hold on. I'll make that change. We will go with 70. All right. Two. Six. 7. 8. There. Say we got 12. Let's make it 13 on this one, since we did an extra rep with the lighter weight. So not up to failure, but we'll do another set. I'm gonna drop the 5 pound increment here, and we'll just blast it for like 1 or 2 more sets. We'll see, but I think that's the end of it, and maybe we'll have some car talk after this. All right, gym session is done. I just stopped by real quick at Walmart over here, but it's time to go home. So pulling movements, I think this far, it's definitely my favorite. I thought that, I'm gonna like, the usual bro favorable days, which is chest days and arm days. But something about a back pump, just when you're pumped like that and your biceps are also engorged like that, you just feel there's that bulletproof feeling that I get. So henceforth, Pull day or chest and back day are my definitely my favorite days. Into the gym. I think arm day I kind of placed it somewhere where logically because you know uh, it doesn't take as much energy and as much output as other days would, especially leg days. But at the end of the week, it's my very last kind of like lifting session for the week. So I'm kind of I'm kind of just drained at that point. Although I can be carved up and all that good stuff, but just the actual exhaustion that you're experiencing at that moment is a definitely uh, definitely very obvious. Like you'd think you'd have a good pump even though you're all carved up and everything, but does it really matter if you're in a calorie deficit? You're never gonna fully refill your glycogen for that matter. So yeah, I mean, you know, you get like a half pump type of thing, um, and to be honest, I don't mind it. All things considered, when you're on a cut, it's rather you kind of have that peace and understanding that it's not gonna be like that forever, and especially all the cardio that is being done and tracking my steps and increasing activity or decreasing calories. Those are something that you're not usually looking forward to do. But all things considered, we have a goal of you know losing some belly fat. Well, we're not trying to get shredded and have abs or anything. Well, down the line we will, but we do have an emergency of like, okay, we are in an overweight state. Let's not be in that, or let's let's get away from that as much as possible. But you know, let's preserve what we work so hard for, which is our lean tissue, muscles. That's what everyone works for in the gym. Am I right? Like cardio has many benefits, obviously. It's called cardio for it's good for your heart when you're exercising and pushing it to the limit and letting it recover, but also not overworking yourself. It's a good tool to just let your heart kind of like uh, I don't know, perform better in terms of like it's not gonna give up on you when you require a higher output in a way. But I only do it for the calorie deficit anyway. Like right now I'm doing it 5 times a week. Although some people say uh, do it every day. Maybe we'll get to that point. But 30 minutes stairmaster almost every day of the week. It's not the most fun I've had, in all honesty. But maybe that's just because I hate the form of said cardio. But I like walking. Especially right now it's March. I think 25th, 24th. It's a Tuesday. I forgot which. I think the 24th. Yeah, and it's just gonna get warmer. Right now it's -10 degrees Celsius, outside, and I'm definitely not walking in that weather. Although I had been getting steps from when I do my errands or I go to school, parking a bit farther, and when I do my groceries, even though I only have two things to grab said that day, I'll walk around a couple minutes, extra 5, extra 10 minutes, just to get those extra steps, extra 1,000, extra 1,500 steps. That otherwise, we wouldn't have as much activity level being tracked and helping us with our calorie deficit, and not as much as having to reduce our food intake or uh, go sit in a bike or be at the treadmill for an extra 10, 20 minutes, that type of. Ah! I didn't scream because of the cardio. I'm screaming because, there's a train coming up. But yeah, back day was good back in buys. The gym was fairly busy, so it was a bit of a, I had to think outside the box in terms of like, you have your workouts, but it's something that I don't have a specific. I have my go-tos, but I don't have a specific that. Oh man, this needs to happen, because if I don't, then the workout is just ruined. You know, you're in the gym, same as everyone. They're trying to better themselves, so I've learned, and we all should mature, be matured enough to think that uh, my time there isn't more important than anybody else's time there. I'm there to lift some weights, flex a little bit, and then get out. Hmm. But yeah, in terms of the split I had today, you know, I have my, like it's been said, I have my lat focused day, which I do more of a pull down. So a bunch of my exercises are going to be more pull down based, and uh, and a rowing motion. So I would have most of my exercises for the back portion would be rowing, and today was all about rowing. And I did some compounds with the bent over rows with the barbell. And, I went pretty heavy on that. 2 plates. um I realized how much my grip was limiting me in terms of like how much I could really load up my back with the tension and all that weight and all that good stuff, where I can really maintain my muscles. But yeah, so bent over rows. I was gonna do like a lat pull down, but like an inverse close grip pull down, and that was taken. So I was like, oh, let's just do some pull-ups. I have my straps. I probably can do like 5, 6, 7 reps each set. But it's like, oh, in Anytime Fitness, it was around the time that where they were doing their class circuits, so that was also not available. Um, so I ended up just using the machine. Although it's not the best machine, it's not my favorite, that's for sure. But we got it done. Loaded up some decent weight, and got to squeezing, and uh, it was a decent mind and muscle connection. So we just did like, I think I did three working sets, and we moved on. Did some hammer curls. The cable row machine was taken after that, so I already was warming up with the dumbbells to do some dumbbell rows. But it's not my favorite movement, I tell you that. Uh, but it ended up that the cables were uh, ended up being available, so I did that, and I did an alternating thing, followed by a machine preacher curl, which I only use it alternating style, and we had a good workout. You know, in terms of cardio today, I think I went to the gymnasium at school, got my basketball, walked down, and I did use the stairs, 3 flights up and back, um, and just shot around. Jog when you rebound the ball and stuff. Do some in-game movements, not just shoot free throws, but like something to make you huff and puff and sweat a little bit. And I was just there for 30 to 45 minutes. And although I can't track it at this point, it's I did my due diligence. I'm gonna do some sort of cardio, and I'm not gonna let boredom make an excuse for me to skip said cardio, because we do have a goal of losing weight. So yeah, yeah, you do what you can at the same time, but uh, I try not to go too hard to a point where I sweat excessively, because I do have to go back to class, and sometimes, you know, we really don't have a shirt here. Is it over? All right. So yeah, I think that's it. Post workout meal. I'm thinking of some sweet potatoes, some pork sirloin, lean cut of meat, by the way. Uh, and I just learned that in terms of just purely based on anabolics, the thing that's gonna get you to grow. Uh, Pork muscle fibers, that specific protein source is just uh, fractionally kind of better when it comes to growing you than beef. Although beef it's definitely more packed with the micro nutrients, and it's definitely a lot more healthier, and more of a it's more of a superfood than pork itself. But in terms of just purely, if your goal is to just you're eating the food just to get muscle out of it, I think the rating is beef got like uh, 0.95 in terms of whatever protein rating they've got, and the pork is at 97. So not that it makes a huge difference, but for those who are wanting to grow, and steak is expensive, beef is expensive, and pork is substantially more affordable. Like you get a you get a sirloin. I think they can go for about like what, $27 per kilogram, which is about like let's say about 13, 12, 13, 14 dollars a pound. But you get to the pork, and uh, the center cut loin is only about, I think, 850 per kilogram, which is, you know that's almost as that's like 3 times as much savings you can get per kilogram, in a way. So it'll come to around like $3 a pound. And for a protein source, especially, you're just trying to get your protein in, it's a lean cut of meat without much fat, and it's easily digested, uh, and it's very comparable to chicken. It's a clean, neutral flavor of meat, And I think some people are missing out because they refuse to, you know, because when people think pork, uh, I think I've said this already. They think like the fatty pork belly, bacon, lard, but there's other cuts of meats in an animal. So I think just keep in mind with that. And I'm gonna have a pretty good post-workout meal, followed by some. I think my last is gonna be like a half a scoop of protein shakes, some strawberries, some chocolate powder, and just blend that up a bit, and that'll end me for the night, and I'll be able to sleep not hungry. So this is where we will end today's session. Um, yeah, pretty good day.